share with us what you think are some key points we should know about the war in Ukraine and the U.S. relationship or lack of relationship with Russia?
Where to start? In December 2021, Russia, which had been warning the United States since 1994 that if we attempted to incorporate Ukraine into our sphere of influence, known as NATO, they would feel threatened and feel obliged to react militarily, issued an ultimatum. They demanded that we talk. We enter a negotiation about three things. One, restoring neutrality to Ukraine. That was the original basis for Ukrainian independence, not incorporating it into NATO. Second, reaffirming the Minsk Accords, which gave linguistic rights to Russian-speaking Ukrainians, equivalent to those that French-speaking Canadians have in Quebec. And third, that we agreed to a broader discussion of European security architecture to find a way to relieve the threat to Russia and the threat, perceived threat from Russia to the rest of Europe. We said we will not talk. Russia then made good on its threat, its ultimatum, and invaded Ukraine. And that was arguably illegal, but it had been foretold. Interestingly, to go back to Ray McGovern's comment about the intelligence community, we had it both ways. We said, Russia is bluffing. They'll never dare to attack us in our client state, Ukraine. And at the same time, we predicted they would. And the predictions were almost entirely wrong. That is to say, they didn't do the battle plan that we thought they had. They did something really rather spastic and ill-prepared, and didn't work out very well for them. I'll just conclude by saying that this has been very bad for Ukraine. We started this war with the premise that we could use Ukraine, that we could fight to the last Ukrainian against Russia. Well, Ukraine is running out of Ukrainians, and that is reflected in the battlefield. And all of the, BS that the New York Times, the Washington Post, and other major news media in the United States have put out is being refuted on the battlefield. Now, even Zelensky's talking about a negotiation. There must be a negotiation. All wars must end. Typically, they end with one side or another finding a way to accept the results on the battlefield. I know of not a single instance where negotiations have produced an outcome that refutes results on the battlefield. Negotiators, no matter how good they are very seldom able to improve on what the military do. And Ukraine has lost this war. And I would say finally that all of the nonsense about Russia proceeding to Paris as it did in the Napoleonic War is nonsense. Russia has not demonstrated the capacity even to conquer Ukraine, let alone proceed through Poland, Germany, and other countries that aren't exactly patsies to take the rest of Europe to the Pyrenees and beyond. So I think we need to wake up, be realistic. We're not going to get it in this administration, which leaves behind a legacy of grotesque human rights violations in West Asia, a losing war in Ukraine, a confrontation with China that is unnecessary and very risky, no dialogue with Iran, a Middle East in which China now has replaced us as the central diplomatic agent, the go-to country for peace. And for what? What have we accomplished? So I'll leave it there. That is a very bleak way to end this discussion. But somebody asked you about Ukraine, and that is a very bleak story.
Thank you very much.